Hi, my name is Alan Lamont. I'm going to talk about the royal bloodlines. I've shared in other messages how our governments are ruled by the royal bloodlines all across the earth. It's the royal bloodlines, it's the aristocratic bloodlines that have really ruled world politics for hundreds of years. But I'm going to give names and just evidence for this and information that you can go and research to give more specific information on this revelation. I mean, a lot of people do know this information, but did you know that all 43 US presidents have carried European royal bloodlines into office? 34 have been genetic descendants from just one person, Charlemagne, the brutal 8th century king of the Franks. 19 of them directly descended from King Edward III of England. In fact, the presidential candidate with the most royal genes has won every single American election as president. This information comes from Burke's Peerage. It's excellent. I'd advise you to go on and read that on Google. That's Burke's Peerage, B-U-R-K-E-S, Peerage, Burke's Peerage, which is really the Bible of aristocratic and royal genealogy. It's based in London, and it reveals, a lot of revelation, but also every presidential election in America, that's since and including George Washington in 1789, even to Bill Clinton and today. The presidents who have won the elections have had the most British and French royal genes. Of the 42 presidents to Clinton, 33 have been related to two people: Alfred the Great, the King of England, and Charlemagne, who, was the most famous monarch of France. And so it goes on. 19 of them are related to England's Edward III, who has 2,000 blood connections to Prince Charles. The same goes with the banking families in America. George Bush and Barbara Bush are from the same bloodline. Pierce bloodline, that's what it's called, which name is changed from Percy when it crossed the Atlantic. Percy is one of the aristocratic families of Britain to this day. They were involved in the gunpowder plot to blow up Parliament at the time of Guy Fawkes. I'll share more, but really there's other information I'll bring, but the royal bloodlines do control parliaments, politicians, and that's the truth. They are connected to royal households through bloodline. That's the presidents, the prime ministers. This is the system of control that has been established. This is the establishment. This is the establishment. Secret is kept hidden, and that's the truth. So it's not just that they are alumni trained, that they go to Jesuit universities, that is these presidents or prime ministers. It's not even just that they're subordinate to Rome or the Vatican, or that even the royal households govern them. It's the fact that they are actually related to the royal households. So this is all one big bloodline controlling the earth. If America also declared its independence from the European monarchies in 1776, how is it possible that every single president is descended from European monarchs? The answer is because they're family. It's one big family. They keep it in the family. Now, if presidents are democratically elected, as we are told, or what are the odds that we would always choose members of the British and French royal bloodlines to lead us? If you're American listening to me, you need to ask that question. Why is it every president of your nation is connected to the royal family in Great Britain? That's because the Crown Corporation of London governs the United States. They are nothing but states of the Crown. Still are. That's why every president who has, the bloodline of the British monarchs is put in office. America has always been owned and governed by royal families, the black nobility of Europe, but it's actually the British royal family that governs over America. You can see that when you read its history. It's not the land of the free, as everyone claims it is. People say, you know, anyone can become president. That's deception. That's a lie. You know. So that's the truth of it. These men are chosen in advance. They are trained by the Jesuits from Jesuit alumni universities, and you know, most people know this, so I'm not going to explain that. You know, most people understand the revelation that, you know, there is no election process. It's all one big deception. You know, they know who they're going to position into power, and they're all, you know, one big bloodline. I mean, okay, you know, more revelation here. You know, the New England Historic, the New England Historic Genealogical Society traced connections that U.S. American presidents George W. Bush himself is directly related to 16 former U.S. presidents, including George Washington, Franklin Pierce, Abraham Lincoln, Ulysses Grant, Rutherford B. Hayes, James Garfield, Grover Cleveland, Teddy Roosevelt, William A. Taft, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Frank D. Roosevelt, Richard Nixon, and Gerald Ford. George W. Bush was related to 16 former U.S. presidents. Bush also is closely, and obviously, you know, Obama's president today, but I'm covering it because Bush has more connections to this, you know, British Empire royal bloodline. Bush is closely related to the King of Albania and his kingship with every member of the British royal family in the House of Windsor. He's related to 20 British dukes and the 13th cousin of Britain's Queen Mother and her daughter Queen Elizabeth. He is the 13th cousin, once removed from Prince Charles, and has direct descent from King Henry III, Charles II, Edward I of England, through the House of Windsor, and King Henry III. And the Bushes and Bill Clinton are genetically related as well. According to Burke's Peerage, also, even according to the official genealogy, Bill Clinton actually is genetically related to the House of Windsor, the present royal family in Britain, and to every Scottish monarch, to King Henry III of England, and to Robert I of France. In 2004, George W. Bush ran as Republican against Democrat John Forbes Kerry, who was actually also his 16th cousin, so Kerry and Bush were cousins. These cousins related to the same British and French monarchs are also a secret society, members of the infamous Skull and Bones fraternity, the Tomb at Yale, which is actually governed by the Jesuit order. John Kerry descends from King Henry II of England and Richard the Lionheart, who was the leader of the Third Christian Crusade in 1189. He also has links to royals in Albania, Sweden, Norway, that's royalty, in Albania, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Russia, Persia, France, but still not enough royal genes to top Bush. Early in 2000 we see the same story, you know, you saw the whole thing. George W. Bush in 2000 ran against, you know, Al Gore and, you know, won the election. Now, Al Gore is a descendant of Edward I, here we go, Roman Emperor Louis and Charles II, and Al Gore is a direct descendant of Charlemagne, which makes him a distant cousin of Richard Nixon. Oh God, you know, all one big bloodline. George W. Bush. So the top Democrat candidate against Bush in 2000 and 2004 were actually cousins. So there you go again. You know, it's just outrageous. You know, when you really research the truth and realize that, of course, the Vatican always places people, you know, of bloodline into political office and presidential office, and you know, all world leaders across the earth are related to one another, and it all ties back to, and it's all connected to the centre of power, which is the Crown Corporation, which is the British monarchy, the House of Windsor. And so, okay, that's the revelation, really. I mean, the British line goes back from Prince William and Harry through Prince Charles and Prince Diana, well, previous Diana, to Queen Elizabeth II, King George, King Edward, King Victoria, King Edward, King George. Then it passes through King James, the first who ordered and financed the most widely read version of the Bible. Before James came Mary Stuart, King John, and then, he was the signer of the Magna Carta. And back to the Plantagenet and Habsburg dynasties under the Roman Empire. Other branches carry the bloodlines to Scotland, Austria, Germany, Spain, Sweden and Mexico. This same bloodline also includes key Scottish families like the Lords of the Galloway, Napoleon Mary Louise of Austria, who married Napoleon Bonaparte, Kaiser William II, the King of Germany. Really, what I'm revealing here is that not just the British monarchy, but all, listen to this, all royal houses across Europe are all related. That's right, and they all rule. And all of the politicians and presidents that we see ruling our governments, they are all distant cousins, or they are all related to these royal households. They serve these royal households. They are ruled over by the royal households. That's the real structure. And so, I'm bringing it out again, but with more information, and I'm going to do more on this because it's a very, very interesting subject. Many people believe that these bloodlines go back to the time of Alexander and Nebuchadnezzar and back to Babylon. I mean, I have no evidence for that, so I'm not going to push that out just because I've read that somewhere. I don't do that. I research information and I go and find out if it's accurate, and if it is, I'll share it. But I don't know if it goes back to Babylon. I wouldn't say that. And people that push that information, they've got to be careful, that because they don't actually give any evidence for that. I find that people can say, even that they're reptilians, the House of Windsor, reptilian bloodline and all of this, and David Icke pushes that. Not one bit of evidence for that. It's just a theory. And the same with all of these all of these royal bloodlines in Europe. All, you can trace them back to Babylon. Everyone that says that never brings any evidence, so I'm not even going to go down those roads, No way. Just bring truth, and that's it. So, also, Obama, here's just another one to throw in. Obama is the 8th cousin with Dick Cheney. Did you know that? Obama is related to Dick Cheney. And they're 9th cousins. Also with Brad Pitt. He's descended from 6 other US presidents, and he and his wife are members of the globalist CFR secret society working towards world government. And also, did you hear that Hillary Clinton is related to Madonna? God, And Angelina Jolie. Jolie works for the UN, and she's also a CFR as well. It's all one big royal family, folks. That's it. Ruling our nations, ruling our governments. It's the monarchs that rule. And that is the true revelation of the New World Order. And I want to bring that out. If you want to give some feedback, you can. You're welcome to. I'm going to put this full article on my my blog. You can read it, because I'm actually reading off an article, and you can read that. So I'll put it on. Okay. You can see the link for it on the channel page I have. It's called Vatican New World Order. Click on that and on YouTube, and I'll take you to my site, my blog, and the information I'll put on there. Okay, thanks for listening. God bless.